Good morning. Welcome back. You're still watching Daybreak on this third day of March 2022. My name is Sam Gituko, and I want to introduce the panel that we have here in studio. We have Dr. Alfred Mutua, the governor of Machakos County. Good morning.
Good morning. It's good to be here. Welcome back to the show. Asante sana.
Senator Kimani Wamatangi from Kiambu County. Good morning.
Thank you very much, Sam. Good morning to you.
You were missing last time. What happened?
Yes, well, you know, I just come from Sagana the previous night.
Yeah.
And it was a long drive. And just somehow in the morning I was unwell. And so I sent an apology. And I said, I'm going to be here today. And I'm here.
Great. Pole sana for that.
Was it the drive, or you're still trying to put into your system maybe, what you had in Sagana?
Maybe an effect of both. Maybe both.
Okay. Senator Samson Cherargei from Nandi County. Good morning.
Morning.
And welcome back to the show.
I've always been here.
I'm welcoming you back. This is a new week, isn't it?
Yeah. Okay, yeah. And it's good to have Kimani Wamatangi. I think maybe there was overload in Sagana. That's the reason he didn't make it.
What sort of overload are you talking about?
Or the shock. The aftershocks.
Okay, all right. And then you have Fred Okango. He's the Secretary of Political Affairs within KANU and also the spokesperson of One Kenya Alliance. Good morning.
Good morning, and thank you so much. Can see some of our potential partners around, but
there is on your left.
You know, we said yellow is a no-go zone.
Okay, all right. I don't think you've been here on a Thursday, have you?
I normally come on Tuesday.
Okay, great. So
this is a new friends.
All right, no worries. So let's start by looking at the front pages of the dailies. You have on the front page of the Daily Nation revealed the fixing of Kalonzo Musyoka. The Wiper leader is in a catch-22 situation that poignantly echoes his tribulations a decade ago during the last presidential transition. The question he's grappling with now is just how he boxed himself into this unenviable position where he is once again negotiating with coalition partners who have apparently placed the two highest political prizes out of reach. Of course, they're talking about the history of what was in 2012 G7 that ended up being what it is, and one Uhuru Kenyatta and William Ruto ended up being in one ticket. But Kalonzo Musyoka had to cross over to Coalition for Reforms and Democracy. He's been talking about the promises that were made to him by Raila Odinga in 2017 in a secret, or should I say private agreement that now says that Raila Odinga has breached. And of course, the developments to that is what just happened yesterday with One Kenya Alliance saying that they'll be signing their cooperation. Or is it an agreement? Fred will be telling us what exactly that is. Then up there on the Daily Nation, fury over Ruto's vote rigging claims. Speaking in Maryland, US, the deputy president and UDA leader says different government agencies are trying to manipulate the electioneering process and appeals to the global community to intervene, prompting furious reactions from his rivals back at home, including allies of his main opponent, Raila Odinga, who claim he has sensed defeat and is laying the ground to reject the outcome of the presidential election. Then, state to go on borrowing spree as MPs raise debt ceiling to surpass the 9 trillion mark. They said that the events happened yesterday as MPs endorsed the 2022 medium-term debt management strategy, which allows the government to borrow more from the local market at the expense of the MSMEs, or if you like, the micro, small and medium-sized enterprises here in the country. On the front page of the Standard, the cast of coalition deals, you'll see the past agreements between politicians that have been breached, starting with the agreement of Daniel Moi, former president, and Raila Odinga, I believe during the KANU NDP merger that ended up with Moi preferring Uhuru Kenyatta to Raila Odinga. Then Raila Odinga entered into a pact with Mwai Kibaki in the run-up to the 2002 election that Mwai Kibaki is said to have reneged on power-sharing deal with Raila in 2003. Then Kalonzo Musyoka now expects ODM leader to reciprocate after two MOUs of 2013 and 2017 with Odinga. Musalia Mudavadi had been promised support by Uhuru Kenyatta in 2013. Remember the Madimoni story? And then Uhuru Kenyatta has changed his mind about supporting his deputy, and William Ruto had a deal with President Kenyatta in 2013 that appears to be different. And those are so many things that we have to talk about, but I would want us to start by looking at what just transpired yesterday and what has become the state of politics at the moment with One Kenya Alliance. Is it just delay tactics or you're doing due diligence? Because the promise was that you'd have an agreement on Monday. It was pushed to yesterday. Martha Karua on Tuesday indicated that they were reading this document. I mean, through her party, indicated they are reading this document. They'll need at least 7 days. What is the position now within One Kenya Alliance, and where are you headed?
Thank you, Sam. As we have stated before, One Kenya Alliance is very firm. And we have said that before we get involved in any engagement, it must be structured, open, and honest. And those negotiations are going on.
Just tell me, what does, because I've heard this so many times, structured,
open. What
does that mean? Let's start with structured.
It means that in the negotiations, we must know where we are headed, what we are going to do, and how we are going to do it. But having said that, Sam, nothing is lost, because you do realize that coalitions are phenomenons all over the world. And the reason why people build coalitions is because they partner with people that they are ideologically alike. We have identified our partners. We know them. We are talking to them. But as it is now, so that we don't experience what others have experienced before when building coalitions, we want a coalition that must last. You know, Sam, when we're going for marriage, and you get married, for example, or you marry, then the wife and the husband come together as one, and you know, the wife probably changes her name. If it was Sam Gituku as the husband, the wife now will take maybe somebody Gituku, you know, for example. And that is the type of example we would give. But as it is today, we can confirm to the people of Kenya, to our supporters, that nothing is lost. We know that for sure it is important that we push for the unity of this country. And one of the ways of pushing for unity is to come together, people of like mind.
So what is the difficulty? Because structured, you're saying that you want to know where you're headed or what you're going to do there. I mean,
there's no difficulty, Sam. There's no difficulty.
So why all these delays?
If you listen to the principles yesterday, in a statement that was read by Honorable Martha Karua, she did say that we are looking at the legal instrument, and you know, when the laws were amended that now create what is called coalition political parties, it is important that before you sign any coalition agreement, either as a coalition or as a coalition political party, you must also be aware that your partner that you'd want to work with, are they signing the same or they're signing something different, so that you don't get into legal headways. Okay. So that is what we are looking at. And lastly, Sam, it is also important to tell the public that for us in Oka, we are not giving conditions to anyone, because in any case, we have also opportunity to tell our story at the ballot. But because we value the aspects of unity, we value the importance of coming together as a people, we value the importance of having a strong government that is strengthened by working together, we shall work together with people that think like us.
Let's listen to what your leaders from One Kenya Alliance said yesterday to put this into further context.
Sign our coalition agreement today, but we have postponed to polish certain legal issues that have arisen. Nevertheless, we are committed to our unity, and in a few days, we will be letting you know the time we shall sign the agreement.
We're happy to report that the best legal minds are now working on it and have assured us that by this week it will be over and will be good to go early next week.
You can see we are all here, the 4 Oka principles, reaffirming our unity of purpose. We still are open to receive other parties that we are talking to into the Oka coalition and to building coalition with other Kenyans so that we can achieve our objective of being able to form government alone or with others in order to fulfill the urgent needs of Kenyans.
All right, that is Martha Karua speaking for the One Kenya Alliance and earlier on Gideon Moi. Governor, what do you make of this conversation? I saw a statement from Azimio affiliate parties saying that Kalonzo Musyoka needs not to delay the process further and to come on board to form what you're calling a four-legged table, or is it two?
Thank you very much. It's good to see you, my friend. We've known and worked together for a long time. I want first to say jambo to our viewers and listeners from all over the world. It's another great day that the Lord has made, and also welcome Fred Okanga to our Thursday session here.
Thank you so much.
We tend to be a bit brutal and realistic in terms of the way we late. Now, you see, let me start with the headline, the fixing of Kalonzo Musyoka. The reason they call the fixing of Kalonzo Musyoka, and also you look at page 5, says that succession context exposes Kalonzo's flip-flopping. The whole talk of Oka is the talk of Kalonzo Musyoka and his flip-flopping. We were at the Jubilee NDC. And during the Jubilee NDC, he was there. And he said that Oka have decided that he's going to be their presidential candidate. And this was repeated also in the ODM NDC. And so as such, he's going to be competing with the ODM and other candidates like ourselves for the Azimio seat. He was fully committed at that time. He never showed up to the NDC of ODM for whatever reason. I don't want to speculate. It didn't go very well. I thought it was a cheap move. But you see, what Oka are trying to do are trying to cause a kind of a crisis so that they can get some importance. You know, they're trying to say we are not ready, we'll be ready, so they can get some importance. But if you look at the votes, and you know, and Azimio wants to have everybody on board, and we welcome them to come on board. But we see the contradiction in the statement by Mother Karua, by the one they were reading with Kalonzo Musyoka standing there, looking like a choir boy, very nice and humble. Oh, but a day ago...
Why would you say that about the former president?
No, but it's because it's a contradiction. Because here he's very quiet and very nice. But a day before he issued a statement where basically he took Oka back to 2017, where he started talking about, you know, the reneging of the NASA deal, that he should be the presidential candidate, that has to be fast tackled. And then we wondered, well, Gideon Moi was not in that agreement. Mother Karua was not in that agreement. You know, they were not in that agreement, Jirongo and others. So was he speaking for Oka? Was he speaking for himself? And if he's speaking for himself and he's part of the negotiations, and then this statement yesterday, it means that Oka is confused. They're all basically working on emotions. Somebody comes up and says, I want my deal. I think I'm the one who is entitled. It's a sense of entitlement to be president. The other ones come and say, we're still looking at the documents. Basically, what they did yesterday was to throw Kalonzo Musyoka under the bus. And to say that hiyo mambo alikuwa anasema, hatukuwa tumeongea, and they're trying to put their house in order. And
if I had it right, Kalonzo Musyoka said it was a personal statement that he felt was essential to make at that point.
Yeah, but you see, you're making a personal statement at a time when you're negotiating. And you're making a personal statement that actually says puts conditions on whatever agreement that you're drawing. You cannot come and just make a personal statement in the middle of a negotiation and say that is personal. It's not inclusive of what you're saying. Then why make the statement at all if it is not meant to pressure or send a certain message? I just think that when Mheshimiwa Wetangula and Mudavadi ditched Oka, they got a bit confused. And you can see they're trying to draw people in, which is okay. But as Azimio, we've said we'll work with like-minded people. We welcome Oka to come, but not with conditionalities. Fred Okanga just said that when people get married, they take the last name, and that becomes the surname. And so Oka wants to come into where there is Azimio, so that it can be called Azimio One Kenya. So One Kenya becomes the husband. So Azimio now has gotten the last name called One Kenya Alliance. And you're saying that is neither here nor there. You know, that's their state of mind, by the way. What he's expressing is what they're thinking. They want to come over and take over.
Has this name been agreed upon? Because it was actually communicated and repeated by the president.
Yeah, but you see, it is a work in progress.
Okay.
And the president has been very clear that we welcome everybody. We would like Oka to work with us. And we welcome Oka. And Oka has a very serious people. You know, Mother Karua is a very serious politician. I've worked with her. Gideon Moi, as I was saying off air, is a very stable gentleman. You know, off you know, of politics and even personal life. Very stable man. He gives you his word. You know, it's his word. I met Jirongo yesterday somewhere, and we talked, and you know, but they're being held hostage because they've already declared.
You think the problem is the Wiper leader?
Because they already declared during the Jubilee that Kalonzo is their running mate. He's not their running mate. He's their presidential candidate. They declared that openly. And I think it was repeated by Gideon Moi. It was repeated by when the Wiper leader sent Makwere, Mheshimiwa Makwere, to NDC. They repeated that Kalonzo is running mate. Kalonzo himself said he will compete. He's the presidential candidate for Oka. He will compete with Raila Odinga and others for the Azimio seat.
Oh, okay. He says something that they are coming without any conditions. We'll be talking about that, whether it's no corporate conditions, but maybe individual conditions from certain parties. But Senator Wamatangi, what are you thinking when you watch this? And first of all, where are you now? Which party, which movement, formation? Okay,
why don't I start with that and finish with what you've said? Yeah, sure. Now, you know, Sam, I think let's look at this with a bit of perspective of history. And that's the way probably I would want to go. And it may help to inform, in my view, what's happening. First, Sam, it's important to say that the consequences, first remember that political negotiations and the outcomes ultimately are about interest, either of the group or the person. And so whatever you see happening, whether it is the negotiations about with Oka, with any of the players, it has the element of the interest of that group or the persons that are in there. So none of the players is going to be acting ultimately in the interest of the other person and selflessly. So that we must make very clear. Number two, Sam, let's just take a quick relook at these negotiations and the people who are there. First, look at Martha Karua, and remember her history a little bit. Remind ourselves that Martha Karua was one of the negotiators during the Grand Coalition government, and you can now relate to the kind of negotiator she is. It was a tough negotiation. Remember, at one point she had to be, you know, as rumor was, she had to be thrown out because they were saying she was making things almost impossible to move. I don't know whether you followed that during that time. But the essence of it was that she negotiated hard and tough, you know, during that negotiation. And they wanted to make sure that at the end of the day, when the agreement is signed, that they have something they can take away. If I would probably also reminisce in that history, that time the perception of the people was that whatever was taken as the giveaway to the PNU side that time. The rumor had it, and indeed the conscience of many people around, especially like the Mount Kenya region, believed that it was Martha Karua who was credited with that negotiation. And so that would inform you that when she's in that group, what kind of negotiation would you have? Now, then look at Kalonzo Musyoka. Kalonzo Musyoka, you know, he's been branded many times, you know, watermelon, you know, chameleon, or whatever, you know, so many things that he has no position. In my view, what that is likely to do to a person who has had the kind of history he's had in political leadership is to get him to first want to assert that he is not the kind of person he's been described as. And so when he goes into this kind of a negotiation...
Is it working?
He would want to ensure that because he took a position, he pursues that position. So you have these two people in this coalition. And then now reflect back to what you saw as the headlines in the Standard. And you can see there, Kalonzo Musyoka's face is one of the many, and the central one seems to be Raila Odinga. And so these are people who are negotiating with this kind of history. So let me say this for that purpose, that I think that ultimately what these gentlemen and ladies are trying to do is to ensure, in my view, that they get a deal that will not be like, and I would want to urge our people. Let's be fair on this. And I'm not a member of OCA, by the way, because you've asked me that question. But I'm saying that throughout the life of Parliament, from 2017 up to now, one of the issues that have consistently been raised by members of Parliament, and especially from that side of the opposition, if you like,
right, has
been that the undoing was the failure to honor an agreement they had signed. Because I'm in the House, and this is an honest discussion. And they have been saying that we signed an agreement, we're supposed to have shared funds, with the ODM. Yeah. This didn't happen, we were shortchanged. And indeed, that's what you saw led into the fallout. Consequently, even Wetangula was removed, and, James Orengo took over, and so on. First Wiper seemed to be going on its own. And so I think, informed by all that, the likelihood is that that negotiation would not be so easy when you have those people. At the end of the day, I believe that what should be given, and we've signed a law that secures, or rather we passed a law that secures those kind of interests, is to ensure that these gentlemen and ladies get the fair share they're supposed to get. And I want to conclude that sum by saying that the consequences of political failure, and they have been felt firsthand by somebody like Kalonzo Musyoka, are very personal. Because once you have lost either in this kind of negotiation, you live out in the cold alone for the next 5 years. Okay. And Kalonzo has been out in the cold for 5 years. Martha Karua has been out in the cold.
Since 2013?
Maybe? Yeah, more. 10 years. Now, Martha Karua has been out there. Same thing. And so these are people who know that if we negotiate and we don't get it right, that we are likely to be out in the cold for the next few days. All right. So I think, in my view, that would be informing what seems to be the rigidity now.
So Senator, my question on where you are politically.
One is that I'm going to be running for governor of Kiambu. I made that decision that after my running, but I also went to the USA and decided that our ticket for the presidency then may be more viable in the year 2027. So anyway, as a confirmed position, some I'll be running for governor of the county of Kiambu. Number two, I will be having my launch on the 20th. So I will invite you.
Do you know what party, what formation?
That's why I'm going to be launching and revealing to my people and my followers how we shall be. Okay. Because I've got enough funds.
All right, I hear you.
But he's very comfortable because he knows he's got a Mandela Chap party ticket anytime he wants.
Is that your party?
we like solid people, and it's a party of development that is loved by many. So
you'll pay for it, Governor. Let's listen to something that Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka said some 2 days ago.
My brother has the option of abiding by the terms of this live legal agreement, live binding legal agreement, and thereby emerging, in my view, as a true national, regional, and indeed continental democratic hero, or he has the option of choosing to act in utter defiance and repudiation of the agreement, and thereby compounding the trust deficit.
Kalonzo Musyoka speaking about Raila Odinga and the agreement that they signed in 2017 privately. Senator Cherargei, observing what's going on, of course you are in Kenya Kwanza, but I'm not sure about that. I saw your name being removed, or rather a declaration to remove you from the Jubilee Party. Have you found a home yet? And how do you make of this discussion?
I think some of us found a home like 3 years ago. We have been in United Democratic Alliance, but they just made declaration, but they have not effected. So yesterday I did resign officially, formally, as per the procedure. And we have a home now where all Kenyans of all walks. And I can assure you, people like Kimani Wamatangi are headed to that home. It's a very beautiful home. It is a home that will change the lives of Kenyans going into the future.
You know, it's interesting that I presume that the new home you're talking about is UDA.
Yeah, UDA.
You know, the party leader of Maendeleo Chapchap is on the show and is claiming membership of Senator Matangi here.
I wouldn't want to go with contest with Governor Mutua because he has already been swallowed by Azimio. As we are sure, and just wait for 20th. I can't. Let's not even contest about it.
Okay.
Because the ground in Kiambu is in UDA. I can assure you of that.
So just quickly before we go to the question of One Kenya Alliance, how did you do that resignation?
There is a standard form that has been given, so you sign and put your details, then you take to your parent party or the party you want to move from, then they receive, so then you take to Jubilee. Yeah, to Jubilee, then you take it to register political parties. Then she effects the changes and they remove you from the list and put you to the party of your choice. I think it's for elected leaders, but I've seen other Kenyans can just resign by, I think, star 509 ash, I think so. So it's very quick.
So what is the effect of that, knowing that if you resign from a party, you're elected, you're likely to lose a position? I know there's also the question of time.
No, the question of time, and those are some of the gray areas that in future, I think as a country legally, it should be interpreted as at now, because there is mass movement. Others are moving out of Maendeleo Chapchap, others are moving into Maendeleo Chapchap, others are moving out of Jubilee into UDA, others from KANU into either from Wiper to KANU. So there is a lot of movement around.
Okay.
So if you are to say you want to do a mass by-elections, then it will be very interesting. So I hope maybe somebody will go to court and maybe advise, or the courts can advise on the way forward, because you can imagine a number of leaders will be moving up and about, and it's only less than 6 months.
Do you know when your resignation will be effected so that now you can join?
As soon as practicably possible, because the deadline is on 26 March.
Okay.
And nominations will start from April 9th going into, I think by May, the name should have been forwarded to IEBC.
Okay.
Can I chip into that as a party leader?
Yes, quickly.
Just, you know, and this is one of those gray areas, and I agree with my good senator here, because it has been published and printed that you have to be in the party that you'll contest in by the 26th of this month.
Yes.
So you cannot say that I'm tied to whatever party I was in and I cannot move because I was elected to another party. So basically, this is a period when people are shifting from one party to another party, and you cannot be punished for that because you did not set the rules. The rules have been set that if you're moving from UDA to Maendeleo Chapchap and others, this is now to new parties like ourselves. This is what we call the harvest season, because people don't want to go to these, what do you call them, nominations. Wengine watachujwa na wengine, so they're coming to us because you can get a good ticket if you're a strong candidate and move on. So we are opening that window. So UDA kikupatia shida, my friend, I think you're also solid. Come, we talk. Because if you want to be governor, people need to know that you can be governor like Mutua.
Some of us are the founders of UDA. Wow. So what I wanted to comment about, as an observer, I think I want to thank Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka for exposing political conmans. Yesterday he made a very serious, and if media, I don't know, the mainstream media has been trying to hide this story of Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka.
What do you mean, hiding from where?
They have really tried to put it under wraps, because what Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka is doing, the former vice president, a good Christian, is exposing people who take advantage of others, people who are dishonest. And he put where it belongs by saying that Raila Odinga had promised to support him in 2022. And you know, Raila Odinga was saying, have I served 5 years? And I found it comical. I think sometimes back in, was it in Machakos or it was in some funeral? What is important is that Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka has exposed the people and has assisted Kenyans to make a choice. Because Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka supported 2013, 2017, He has been all along being told to support Raila Odinga, but the history of Raila Odinga has been proven contrary to what many people have been sold to believe. As the former deputy, former vice president said yesterday. And I think if you can see, and I think these people should give a break to Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka. You see, Kalonzo issues a personal statement. The following day, all One Kenya Alliance are given brief by the State House. And the holding brief, you can see when Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka makes a statement, One Kenya Alliance calls for a press conference the following day. But it shows a clear indication.
He was present in that press conference.
He was present, but you can see the way Governor Mutua describes that he looks like a choir boy is because he has been cornered, he has been forced. You can tell even from the body language.
To what end?
Of course, we know the President Uhuru Kenyatta has indicated that his favorite presidential candidate is Raila Amolo Odinga. It is interesting that Kalonzo Musyoka is telling President Uhuru to chair negotiations. President Uhuru himself has an history of betraying people. In 2013, he betrayed Musalia Mudavadi and Kwale Mademone. The history between 2013 up to now, 2022, is now, as said, his deputy is not good, and therefore somebody else is good. So President Uhuru Kenyatta himself is known for betrayal. Yet Kalonzo Musyoka is telling President Uhuru, come and chair the negotiations. And President Uhuru himself has said that he is supporting Raila Odinga. So the only issue that Kalonzo Musyoka should be advised is that he should make a decision. I have seen him saying, you know, I will not work with UDA. But you know, in politics, there are no permanent enemies or friends. It always interests about. You remember Governor Alfred Mutua used to bash Jubilee from 2013 up to the other day when he saw the light and thought that President Uhuru Kenyatta is now an angel. One of the biggest excited fans of President Uhuru Kenyatta is Governor Mutua as at now. But before, like 5 years, 3 years, 10 years ago, he used to bash Jubilee. I don't know whether he knew whether Jubilee was headed by President Uhuru Kenyatta or not. But the bottom line I'm just making, and I saw it, by the way, he was dancing with him next to him when the NDC was happening. And before, and I have seen...
you know, Senator, you confuse me because, I mean, Musalia Mudavadi previously used to criticize your... Should I say party leader?
But that is why I was answering the question. I was answering the question, Sam,
yes,
on the issue where Kalonzo is saying he can't work with UDA.
Okay.
I'm just saying there are no permanent enemies or friends. You even see the Mombasa governor before he used to bash. You can see even Uhuru himself and Raila used to say a lot of unpalatable things. Uhuru the same thing. So in fact, Kalonzo, I think the issue that Kalonzo is suffering from my observation, because you're asking me, what is your observation about Kangi? Is also there is intimidation from the three governors from Ukambani region. There is Mutua, there is Kibwana, there is Ngilu. Let me just finish. They have been saying Kalonzo has been demanding money, and it is Governor Mutua said on this show. I think you are not there. I think 2-3 weeks ago, he was telling us that Kalonzo Musyoka has been demanding money. So Kalonzo has been intimidated until he's confused himself.
Okay.
And I think this guy should give a break to Kalonzo Musyoka and allow him to chart his political journey without intimidation.
Senator Cherargei, I want us to take a short break, but before we do, Fred, you say that you're willing to work with your like-minded partner. I don't know what that means anymore, without any conditions. But you've seen what Kalonzo Musyoka is saying, that to work with Raila Odinga, he has to endorse me to be the flag bearer based on the private agreement they had in 2017. So has this come...
Is that a private document or a signed document?
He said it's a private agreement. Yes.
But some, even when Fred was starting, as you speak, Fred, when he was starting, he said that they have already identified a partner. And that's what he said. So wouldn't that be helpful if he said that?
If he said which partner?
You know, Cherargei would be happy if I said they are their partners. They are not our partners. And, you know, I also have to correct some of the rumors that Cherargei is running away with. There's no one that is, there's no one that is briefing the principals from State House. That is a lie, that propaganda from, from the yellow fever side. And we
how about briefing State House?
He just said that...
yes, you said there's no briefing.
But they have been saying
there is no one.
State House.
Oka
you briefing state
is a political formation with people and leaders that are suitable and competent enough. And they know what they want for this country. They know how they want to secure the lives of this country. You have asked me a question that I would answer. You know, we believe that politics is about negotiations. And when you're negotiating, you not only negotiate for yourself, but you also negotiate for the people you lead. And that is what the Oka principles are doing. We have identified our partners, that is for sure.
That's fine.
So,
you've come out very clear on that.
Just give me
That's very clear. The question I'm asking you, these sentiments of Kalonzo Musyoka, the conditions he's giving, have they come to the attention of One Kenya Alliance, and how do they affect your negotiations with Azimio la Umoja?
SKM, Stephen Kalonzo Musyoka, gave a personal statement. And that statement was in reference to their relationship with Raila Odinga in the last election, not this election.
So why was it
he has
relevant?
said it more than once, that does not stop him from working with Raila Odinga. But what he wants a structured engagement. And as we are speaking, those structured engagements are on course. So there's nothing to worry about. And also, this idea of intimidation, I'd want also to ask our good friend, Governor Mutua, that, you know, we believe that they are leaders who value each other. And when they'll be doing their campaigns, they also should be cognizant of the fact that Kalonzo Musyoka also has support base in the regions that they come from. And to that effect, it is important that they work together because they are likely to be our partners. And some, I encourage very much discussions around coalition payoffs, because that is the issue. Coalition payoff comes in terms of positions and policy. But the most important thing in this one is, while we are looking at the policy as a coalition payoff, we must be cognizant of the fact that we have regions in this country. And the reason why we go for coalition is because the historical imbalances that we have seen before. There are certain regions in this country that, if not for coalition, they would never see the government.
So Fred, you said that structured negotiations are on.
Exactly.
And the partner?
With our partners.
Who?
Our partners are Jubilee, ODM, and that is why we have been talking about...
The question I'm asking is, Fred, who has been in those meetings?
We have got representatives.
Who?
I would not want to reveal that in a TV show.
I'm asking that because if you say that structured negotiations with your likely partners are going on, I would imagine that Raila Odinga would be in those talks.
In political negotiations, you either do it alone, or you send your representatives. Oka have capable and suitable representatives in these negotiations. And we have said it before, that we shall do that until we get it right for the people of Kenya.
So representatives from
just
One Kenya Alliance and?
I know where you're headed to, but I'll not allow you.
Who's been in those?
What we are saying is that there are negotiations going on. And when you listened to the rally, the speaker of the rally in Nakuru yesterday, they actually said that they would welcome His Excellency Kalonzo Musyoka. They would welcome Gideon Moi and Martha Karua to the team because they understand that today in the multi-party era, and it will be difficult for one political party to get the majority, particularly in parliament this time. And that's why we're saying everyone is important. If anyone feels that some people are not important, then that person is lying to himself.
Just for clarification, Fred, now, did you say that Oka is in negotiation with Azimio la Umoja?
Yes, exactly.
And are those the partners that you have identified?
Yes, that's true.
You know, because then for purposes of moving forward in the discussion, I think it is important for us to be clear that indeed then that the exchange and the proposed demands, if you like, in quotes, are being made to Azimio.
Senator Matangi,
yes,
if you listen to our principles,
yes,
they have been very consistent,
yes,
and they have said, particularly in the last meeting at KICC, the NDC for Jubilee, they said that as Oka, we have initiated talks with Azimio formation. But what we are saying, because we are coming on board as equal partners, and we believe that that way we shall for sure secure the lives of Kenyans, then we do propose what is called Azimio One Kenya Alliance. The President of the Republic of Kenya, Honorable Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta, did repeat the same thing. So there's no room for error.
But some say Governor Mutua is part of Azimio.
Yes,
should be
because
telling us whether those
I
negotiations
commented
are happening.
this topic.
So
After the break, we go to another topic.
It's already 23 minutes.
Yeah, just a short comment.
Just
30 seconds.
Could I finish the question?
No, just allow him to make the
Governor Mutua should tell us, Sam, whether he is a member.
Yeah, just to
member of
clarify several
Azimio, should
things.
be telling us whether there is a negotiation.
Okay, Senator.
Yeah, just to clarify several things. Once is just to debunk the theory that I've always been against Jubilee. I haven't. I supported Uhuru Kenyatta even 2013, 2017 when they said Mutua Tanaswa. I stood with Uhuru Kenyatta under Jubilee, Uhuru and Ruto, and have been with them. But I criticize when I see problems within there because the government has really not delivered what it's supposed to deliver because it's fractured with the party leader and the deputy party leader at that time working cross purposes. When it comes to Azimio now, and let me give defense to Raila. Raila is self-made. He's fought, he's been locked up in jail for 9 years. He's suffered to bring democracy. The freedom we have today to talk about anything is to a large extent because of Raila Odinga. So you cannot wish him away. But there are people with a sense of entitlement who think that they're just entitled. That ukienda kucheza mpira, that mwachia afunge bao. It's my time kufunga bao. Mbona unafunga bao? Suniachie nifunge bao. But it's a competition. Politics is a competition. So people need to put aside their sense of entitlement and compete. We welcome Oka, and we've been talking to Oka as Azimio, and we believe that they're very good partners, and we don't have a problem with them.
Have you been speaking directly?
Our teams of Azimio have been talking to Kalonzo Musyoka, Gideon Moi, Jirongo. Meetings have been held. Experts have been, technical teams have been working, and it's not only them. Even Maendeleo Chap and other parties, we are also in negotiations.
Okay.
But we are not putting preconditions. We are not throwing the ball back to 2013, 2017 negotiations of NASA and everything. We are not throwing a spanner in the works. We are consistent. And I think it reaches, and let me say this on air without fear of contradiction, as the late Mutula Kilonzo would have said, people are really getting fed up of Kalonzo Musyoka's, flip-flopping. I was in a meeting the other day in a very high-level place. People are tired. You need to sit down. You may disagree, but you don't need to flip-flop. Because they say what he says in the morning, lunchtime and evening are totally different. It's frustrating Gideon Moi. It's frustrating Martha Karua. I know that personally. It's frustrating Jirongo and others because you need.
I haven't said that.
I know because I've heard. I don't want to reveal here. Even Fred, even Okonga is even shaking his head in agreement because you need to have people who you stand and agree. And negotiation means you keep on clawing and clawing and clawing until you get what you want.
But he said on this show with other governors...
We need to take a short break. When we return, we'll be talking about the future of the Uhuru administration. It's just about 5 months, 9 days to the election. What remains of it? We've heard of Deputy President William Ruto expressing fears about the election, saying that democracy is on the ballot. After the break.